For your Caesar, Cardiff City ride with me for your Caesar. For your Caesar, Cardiff City get litty for your Caesar. She want a diff boy, swagger 1 point, yeah, diff boy. She want a diff boy, swagger 1 point, yeah, diff boy. For your Caesar, grab a little something for your Caesar. We the geezers, swagger stone cold like freezers. She want a diff boy, she want Starvz, not Fitzroy. She want a diff boy, she want Starvz, not Fitzroy. She want a big man, says she want a man from...
Yes guys, I'm Sally. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Cardiff City World. If you didn't know, now you know. Cardiff City content, 7 days a week. You will notice I am not in my home studio. I am at Newport City Radio, getting ready for In the Morning with Si. 11 o'clock every Monday, Newport City Radio. Got a special size anthem today, just in case you wanted to check it out. If you haven't already, you can check out the live show that I did yesterday, where I talked in detail about the potential takeover of Cardiff City, and I gave a lot of context whilst also clarifying a lot of things. I want to be clear again, I never said that there was an agreement on a price, a deal, etc. There's a lot of stuff that still needs to be sorted out, and I would encourage people to go and watch that show in its entirety or listen to it so that you get the real context and what was actually said, not what gets reported afterwards, because you get things left out and it's difficult then. But anyway, on to the rest of the video. It is a recruitment report and it's going to be an interesting one. So today we're taking a deep dive into Cardiff City's rumoured defensive target, 23-year-old centre-back Jonathan Tomkinson. We'll walk through his career path, his loan history, his playing style, his personality, the tactical fit under the manager, the pros, the cons, and this is why it could be a brilliant low-risk signing, or it could be negative. We'll have a look, a high upside signing, who knows. We are going to stat for stat, word for word, have a detailed look at exactly why Tomkinson could be one to watch. Let's get into it. So let's, start with the basics, isn't it? John Tomkinson, born April 11, 2002 in Plano, Texas, America. Tomkinson stands at about 1.9 meters, good height, right-footed. He's currently, I think, a free agent after being released by Norwich City in June 2025, going to FootMob and Transfermarkt. He came through the youth setups at FC Dallas and Solar SC before joining Norwich's academy in 2019. He debuted for Norwich's first team in the EFL Cup during August 2022. He even made a championship appearance for them before going out on some loans with some specific targets. So those loans included Stevenage in League 2, January to June 2023, where he made 7 league appearances with 1 in the Cup. Bradford City in League 2, where he was from September 23 to May 24, 23 league appearances, 5 Cup games, and then last season he spent the second half of the season he spent at Ross County in Scotland in the Scottish Premiership, where he made 9 league appearances. So he's gradually made more appearances. As of June 28th, 2025, Tomkinson is without a club, making him a free agent. Perfect for a bit of smart recruitment, you might say. And when you look at his player profile, his stats, I like to get tactical. And according to SofaScore, Tomkinson has averaged an average rating of about 6.78 out of 10 during his last season in Scotland, with it peaking at about the 7.1 in April 2025. At Ross County, he debuted, he played 9 times in the Premiership, bringing a solid experience with some good ball skills and a high tempo. FootMob logs his height, as I said earlier, about 190 centimeters, shows his value around 125 to 150 grand. And when you look at Y-Scout, which is really good for trends and metrics, particularly the defensive metrics, he's got exceptional defensive activity, 99th percentile in the defensive actions for his role. Dribbling success, about 92%. He's comfortable stepping out with the ball into midfield. His long ball accuracy is around 45%, which is really good. Like, long balls, obviously higher risk. 45% is pretty good, especially for a centre-back. With his overall passing accuracy being in the mid-60s. Decent, but room for improvement. Certainly to room for improvement under pressure, which is something they would have to do in a Brian Barry Murphy's team, is to receive the ball under pressure. He is physical, 6'3", shows composure in one-on-ones particularly. It's the aerial duels success which could probably be a bit improved for someone who's 6 foot plus. To only have a dual success in the air of 44% is a little bit of a thing. But like I said, he's still relatively young, especially for a centre back. You'd expect him to improve. In summary, I would say he is strong in the ground duels, confident in stepping out and stepping forward with the ball, decent progressive passing. Championship coaches or League One coaches will like his defensive intensity, but his aerial game probably needs a little bit of work. But it's not terrible, but I think that dual success and the percentages probably needs work. When we look at his personality, his mindset and his character, I like to do this because clubs should do a deep dive in this. Like, any club should be, when they're recruiting, should be looking at social media, who they hang around with, what they've been like, have they got into any trouble, what are they like if they get dropped, what are they like if they're not starting. All these things come into it, and you have to give it, or clubs should do a deep dive. Obviously, we're fairly limited in what we can do, but we can certainly do our best. So what is he like off the stat sheet? The head coach from Ross County had described him as calm under pressure, responds to feedback. He's a fast learner. Football League sources had reported there was previous interest from Portsmouth, Rotherham, Reading, Notts County and Cardiff, of course. Now, that's interesting because there's some big clubs there, especially at championship level, who fancied him. He captained the youth sides at Norwich, showing a good natural leadership. He also played out in the midfield and on the wing at youth level for FC Dallas and Solus SC before shifting to defence. So he's versatile. On the international stage, he's earned 7 caps for the US under-23s, when he made his debut in 2023 per Transfermarkt. That experience of international football shows that he's got a bit of focus, a bit of maturity, and he's certainly able to step up in the levels. When you look at how he fits, how does he fit in the way Brian Barry Murphy wants to play? Not just we need a centre-back, how does he fit? And I think when you look at some of the key system demands that Brian Barry Murphy is going to want for his philosophy, ball playing, well, BBM is going to want defenders who can step out into midfield, rotate. Tomkinson's dribble success and his strong defensive passing indicate that he's more than a good fit for that. His defensive aggressions, in terms of his high defensive actions, translate very well to the active pressing and tight marking that BBM is likely to want, particularly when anticipating and reading the game. Physique, fine, 6'3", Championship, League One, that's a good size for a centre back, but he needs to work on the aerial side a little bit. And I think, getting a good mix next to a Will Fish, next to a Dylan Lawler is probably good. And imagine, if you've got like a back four, you've got Tomkinson at the right centre back, you could have Lawler or Fish or Chambers in there. They're all good fits. He would help move the ball forward early. He can find the midfielders with some progressive passing. He can bring the ball into midfield, which allows midfielders to not only press high and maintain possession, but it also allows midfielders to drop in and receive the ball knowing that the pass is going to be good, or the midfielder can then, the defender can then move into the space. So there's lots of benefits to it at the moment. BBM also loves, he loves to build from the back. He likes quick passing. He wants players to take the ball under pressure. Tomkinson's comfort on the ball and stepping into midfield is a big tick for that. But let's look at some of the pros and cons. The pros, we talked about some of them. He's a free agent, low financial risk, high upside, excellent defensive actions, dribbling, ball plays, all good, decent age, 23, he's going to get better. Leadership has already been shown. His adaptability is versatile. He's shown a leadership qualities through youth. He's a strong character. He's calm. Sounds like he's real coachable, a keen learner. When you look at the cons, he's only made that one championship appearance. The rest have been League Two, but he did play in the Scottish Premier League last year 9 times, which is, I would argue, League One maybe slightly above. So that's, it's debatable, of course, but I think that's about it. Aerial duels, that's a problem. 44%. That needs to improve, especially for someone who's got the size. His passing accuracy in pressure situations could just do with tightening up a little bit. Obviously, we'll need to adapt to League One. League One is not a league he's played in so far, but he's played in equivalents and League Two, so he should be okay. But he will need to adapt to the pace, the pressing, the physicality. He needs a good partner in the back line, maybe to cover those aerial duels. So maybe you'd be looking at a Fish for a partner, or Chambers over a Lawler. But, Lawler's pretty good. Put simply, I think it's a high upside, low risk signing. With the right partner, the right coaching, I think there's a lot of room for development. He could blossom and be an ideal modern centre-back for Brian Barry Murphy. Of course, nothing is signed, nothing is definite, but it makes a lot of sense to me. As of this video, nothing is signed. And look, when you wrap it up, Jonathan Tomkinson, his career story, his attributes, his mental makeup, the tactical fit, the pros, the cons. I think if Cardiff do secure him, I think it's a smart and strategic addition. I think he can offer a lot. I think the thing which sells it for me, because there are some concerns there, but the things which sells it for me is I do think he'll improve. Centre-backs tend to peak a little bit later in terms of age, and I think he's shown a good skill set so far, particularly on the ball, that I can think there's a player there. But he will need work, and that's where your Brian Barry Murphy comes in with his coaching qualities. I don't quite know where I stand with it. Like, I talked myself into it a little bit. I do think he's good on the ball, and his long passing and everything is good. I like that he can bring it into midfield. I worry that a guy who's 6'3" seems to struggle with aerial duels. But that could be something small. It could be body position. It could be aggression. It could be mentality. Like, it could be anything that is maybe causing that problem. I don't know. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know, would you sign Jonathan Tomkinson on a free? Is he a good signing? Does he fit the way we want to play? Does he fit in with our centre-backs? I'm interested. Give me the context. Let me know. If you want to see more breakdowns, more analysis, more recruitment reports, more shows, more live interviews, more exclusives, pre-match insights, previews, the lot, then make sure you subscribe and like the channel. But join our membership. It's the price of a coffee per month, basically. You get exclusive weekly shows. You get upcoming members special, which I announced last night, which is going to be cool. You get 24 hours early access to tickets to live events, which go really quickly. And ultimately, your support fuels Cardiff City World. It allows us to give you Cardiff City content and coverage 7 days a week. Most weeks, most days, 2 videos a day. You get a shorter video in the day like this, and then in the night you'll get either a longer video or a live show. Your support is what makes that happen. Thank you so much for that support. Thank you so much for all the comments and everything which came in after last night's show. I appreciate it so much. As always, keep the faith, and I'll see you in a bit. Nice one.
Rascal Beats.
For your Caesar, Cardiff City, ride with me for your Caesar.